Good morning, Hope Assembly. Hey, Carrie, thanks so much for walking us through just a couple announcements of things that are happening in the life of Hope Assembly. We want to say Happy Mother's Day to you. What a more beautiful day that you could even ask for, to go out and celebrate, to enjoy outside, to have some warm social distancing as you get outside and have some fun. So families celebrate moms today. Moms, we're grateful for you and thank you so much for all that you do. My name is Jordan. I'm one of the pastors here at Hope Assembly, and today I just want to do a short devotional. And a topic I've kind of been thinking through and talking through with my wife Alyssa is gratitude. And knowing kind of all around us, we see so much negativity. We see it on social media. We hear it through the news. We hear it through friends. It's sort of the topic of conversation is always, kind of the negativity. And I think oftentimes it starts to wear on us that we start to see negative ways. We just kind of feel it and we see it. And it's hard to take a step back and breathe. Say, okay, how do we be grateful for the things that are around us? How do we change our attitude in the midst of our circumstance to make sure that we are having a posture of gratitude of everything around us? And so the amazing thing about gratitude is there's been studies, there's been videos, there's been all sorts of things, even just looking at this topic of gratitude and how our attitude and our posture can really shift everything that we do and exist for. It's honestly really crazy how much just thinking differently can have an impact on our stress levels, our anxiety, all these kind of things. And so I want to read you this psalm this morning, and it says, it's Psalm 107, 8-9. It says, "Let them give thanks to the Lord for his unfailing love and his wonderful deeds for mankind. For he satisfies the thirsty and fills the hungry with good things." So one more time. Let them give thanks to the Lord for his unfailing love and his wonderful deeds for mankind. For he satisfies the thirsty and fills the hungry with good things. There's a couple ways we can look at gratitude. And one of the ways is we have a spiritual gratitude, right? Because of what God has done, the things that he has done, the things that he's going to do, for sending his son to die on a cross for us. And so we're grateful for, in the spiritual realm, for things that God has provided. But we're also grateful beyond that of the things that God has actually provided for us and given to us. And so we look all around us and we can see many things that we are grateful for, things that, depending on seasons and how they go, can change, but we are grateful for those things. And so one of the questions I kind of find myself asking, when I'm wrestling through something or trying to figure something out is, if I'm unsure of my circumstance or something going forward, is knowing that, has God provided for me? Yes or no, most of the time. And consistently the answer is yes. So why wouldn't he provide or change something for me in the future? So I often come around to that question knowing that God will come through and provide in the future regardless of what that circumstance is. So I want to talk about gratitude and some things that oftentimes can get in the way of us being thankful and expressing gratitude towards others. And so one of the first things is distraction. And we know that the art of distraction and how that works, that we can be going through our lives and doing what we do, and things can be going really well, and all of a sudden we'll be distracted, and weeks and months sometimes go by, and we just forget. One of the things I remember in scripture is in Exodus when Israel is coming out of and going into the promised land. And as they're crossing the river, they're placing these little rock piles all over the place. And the significance is they're remembering what God has done. And knowing what happens in the rest of the Old Testament is as time goes on, they forget what God has done. They forget how he has been faithful and how he's been gracious to them. And so one of the things is to remember is distraction can help us forget the things that we should be grateful for. And there's a number of different things that distract us, whether that would be news, social media, busyness, all these type of things. But it helps us, really helps us forget what's around us. And so distraction is one of the ways that gets in the way of gratitude. So negativity and positivity. We all probably know and see negativity pretty easy. It just overpowers everything that happens. So we'll notice the negative things around us before positive. And I know for myself, I can often do that I can see things around me and I'll see the negative before the good in something. But what if we flip that and we're able to see the good in something before we automatically go to the negative? So how can we kind of fight back and forth with that? So that's one of the things that gets in the way of gratitude. Another thing is habit. We can easily get into the habit of doing something and forget how we even got there in the first place. And so things have become normal. So if you ever think of something brand new you got, right, there's that amazing thing of, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for this new thing because it's helped me so much. But as time goes on, it becomes a habit, it wears off, and it's no longer new or shiny or helpful. It becomes less helpful. So we aren't really thankful for that anymore. If something becomes normal that someone does constantly, we don't become thankful for that anymore. And the last thing is envy. It can be really easy for us to want the things that people have, to notice and identify the things that people have that we don't have, and then we become negative about those instead of being grateful for the things that we do have. And we've all been given things and opportunities and in different levels. And so how do we be grateful for those things and remember that those things are good? And maybe we don't have all the things that we might want, but what we have is good and it's okay. There's this quote from Viktor Frankl, and it says, "You cannot control what happens to you in life, but you can always control what you will feel and do about what happens to you." I love this because at the end of the day, the circumstances might not change. The circumstances are always going to be there, but you can always control what you will feel and do about what happens to you. And the amazing thing about Viktor Frankl's story is he was a doctor during the Holocaust, and he was in a concentration camp, and he writes a whole book about his experiences and kind of walks through circumstances and how positivity can actually be linked to surviving really intense, crazy times. So if you haven't read his book or know more about Viktor Frankl, I would look into him, but he's a great resource to find out more about some attitude switching and how that can change. So how can we really express gratitude? So here's a few ways that I kind of want to go over. And one of those is remember the good. It's always easy, as we said, to have negativity overpower positivity, but just remember the good. And so maybe, you're going along your day and you have just a killer meal and it's like, man, that meal was so good. Thank you so much to, the staff at this restaurant or the people. That was an amazing meal. And so we kind of put that in our memory as something good. Maybe something your spouse did that was extra helpful that day. And so, just kind of put that in your bank of, man, I'm so thankful and gracious that my spouse helped me in a way they got me through the day or helped me through this bind or whatever it was. Or something with your kids. Man, our kids behaved so well today. They did such a good job, or whatever it is, just to be thankful for the little things around us. So remember the good. Another one is reframing. I think especially right now, reframing becomes a really important one. As we walk through some difficult circumstances, whether it would be jobs, family, uncertainty about the future, how can we reframe some of those things that, yes, the reality of those things exist, but what are some of the good things that can come out of that? It's the opportunity for something new with a job, maybe a better opportunity in the future, to have something different that you're doing. Just thinking through some things to kind of reframe. And it's a good practice to know of like, okay, what are the good things in this circumstance that might not be ideal? How can I turn my attention to make that different? Keeping a journal. I know I've sometimes saved encouraging notes that I've received from people, just so I can go back when I'm having, a bad day and I'm thinking, man, I'm not doing anything, but I know that these notes exist. Another way you can do is actually write things down. Get up in the morning and, write a thing of gratitude. At the end of the day, just remember a few things that happened that day. And you can flip back and just kind of see what's happened, what has God come through with? Being grateful for other people. What have other people done for you as well? And just to remember those things. And then a last one, this is really, really, really simple. The art of thank you. Just going around and saying thank you as people do things, to gratitude towards people. And it can be really, really simple things. It don't have to be crazy things. Someone opens a door, thank you so much. Someone at a grocery store right now when they're cleaning your carts, hey, thank you so much for doing this. If you ever go to Chick-fil-A, you say thank you. They always say my pleasure. It always brings joy to just say thank you there because they always say my pleasure. But just practicing the art of saying thank you and whatever it is and remembering those things. So there's kind of a fill in the blank I have here for us to kind of just think through and remember. So it says this, remember blank is out of my control, but I can choose my response. So remember blank is out of my control, but I can choose my response. And so you can fill that blanket. You can say, COVID is out of my control, but I can choose my response. My job is out of my control, but I can choose my response. My kids are out of my control, but I can choose my response. You see what I'm saying? So fill in that blank, maybe take a moment and just kind of fill that blank in your mind and just say that, but you can choose your response. We have the option to respond differently. We have the option to react differently to our circumstances, and we are able to do that. We have so much to be grateful for. It's amazing to even just think through the amount in the spiritual realm, but also in just around us, in our homes and in our world, and knowing that not everything's ideal right now. But there's so much to be thankful and grateful for right now. And so let us not forget that. Let us remember the things that we should be grateful for, the things that have happened, the way that God has provided, the way he's going to provide, all those things. Let us not forget. Let us be people who do not forget these things and who are grateful in all that we do. And so, Hope Assembly, we love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch this. Enjoy the beautiful weather today. Get outside. Make sure you put some sunscreen on. We are pasty Oregonians, so be safe out there. And remind you to social distance as you're safe outside and just enjoy the day. We love you guys, and we will see you next week.